Welcome, everybody, to the GenSense Aromaversity. I am so excited that you're here. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedules. I know everybody's schedule is very crazy right now. We're learning a new normal, we're learning new routines. So I'm so excited that you're here with me. So together we will learn, we will share, and we will just be immersed in a positive environment for at least the next hour. Today we're going to be focused on holistic aromatherapy and herbs for the immune system. I want to be able to give you some tips, some resources, some tools, some little nuggets that can enhance how you take care of yourself, your family, your friends, anybody else, along with some really helpful recipes that you can make yourself. My name is Jennifer Pressimone. For those of you who don't know me, I am the owner and the founder of GenSense and the GenSense Aromaversity. I am a clinical aromatherapist and herbalist. I have been immersed in natural health for about 20 years now. I had my own personal health battle, life-threatening health battle, about 20 years ago, and I wasn't expected to live. And so 20 years later, I'm here to tell you, herbs do work, aromatherapy does work a lot, as well as integrative approaches. So I've authored several aromatherapy books. I'm an educator. I educate whenever I get a chance. My two loves are blending essential oils and teaching. So the fact that I get to merge the two just makes me so happy. I'm also a motivational speaker. And my favorite thing of all time is I'm an auntie and a great auntie. I have many in my own family and then also on my husband's side. So there was too many to count. I started counting and then I'm like, oh gosh, that's like way too many. So I love that. So today, this is what we're going for. We're going for happy, healthy, freedom, breathing in great air, and just being immersed in this positive environment. So, what can we do to support our immune systems? And our immune systems, as you're going to learn, isn't just one thing. We can't point to one place in the body and say, oh, that's the immune system. Like we can point to the liver and say, that's the liver. You cannot do that with the immune system. Every single process, tissue, organ, body system, everything is involved with the immune system. So let's look at what the immune system is. And so our immune system, it has to be on alert at all times. It's always on alert. If it falls asleep at the wheel, it gets too tired, it gets too stressed out, it gets too sluggish, then while it's sleeping, things can get in. Foreign invaders, germs can get in. So this is why it's important to support our immune system. We have two approaches that we need to support at all times with our immune systems. The defensive approach, so we have mechanisms within our body that defend, they resist, they put off things from getting in. They put up a wall to say, nope, you're bad, you can't get in. But there's times when the immune system falls asleep at the wheel that some things do get in. So then our offensive team kicks in to tackle it. They go to attack and destroy any foreign invaders that get in. So it's a 1-2 punch. It's a 1-2 approach that we have to support from both angles. The cool thing is that your essential oils and your herbs and your botanicals, they do both. They defend and they tackle both at the same time. So this is awesome. It's just going to depend on how much you're using and how often you're using it to determine the strength of the defense and the strength of the offense. So how does the immune system work? We have our immune system, we have a cellular system, and together they work simultaneously to defend us, to tackle things, that we just talked about. But it's going to depend on the quality and the integrity of our body systems and all of the immune players. Our skin is our largest eliminative organ, and so that's one of our first lines of immune defense. We have elimination organs, our colon, liver, lungs, the lymphatic system, the kidneys, circulation. All of this plays a role in how the immune system is going to work or not. If our elimination channels are clogged, meaning you're not having a healthy bowel movement, right? There's constipation going on. Well, when we're constipated, toxins are not getting out. And if they can't get out, they're putrefying in our gut. Your immune system is in your gut. Anybody with allergies, sinus issues goes back to a poor gastrointestinal health issue because all of that resides in the GI tract. So when we're working on the immune system, when you're working on allergies, sinuses, elimination, the first place we have to look is in the gut. So we look at, Hippocrates told us the root of all disease, is inflammation in the gut. The pathway to health is good intestines. So we know intestinal health is huge. So that's going to be one of the first things on your mind is, how is my gut? How am I handling things? We have to have a good microbiome strength. Our head brain and our gut brain have to be able to communicate, and they communicate through the vagus nerve. So we have to have this a healthy bi-directional communication system open. That pathway has to be working. And so if we're stressed, if we're sluggish, we're not getting the right nutrients, we're not taking the trash out, that communication pathway, it either gets clogged so the right messages don't get delivered on time, or there's breaks and blockages so the message doesn't even get sent, or if it does, it's garbled. So this is really important. Nutrient intake, you have to be able to absorb what you are taking in. So are you absorbing what you are eating? So that's why we should eat to live, not live to eat. We should be eating right now to nourish our body and to protect our immune system. That means nothing from a box, bag, or a can. We should be eating fresh as much as possible. Sometimes that's tough. If you can't do your fresh vegetables, then do your frozen. That would be your backup. Your body systems have to be in balance. They have to be working. They collaborate with each other. They communicate with each other. So the liver, the lungs, the colon, everything has to communicate. So we were talking about toxins getting out, having a healthy bowel movement. If toxins can't get through the bowel, they're going to back up into the respiratory system. Now, if your respiratory system's not strong enough, that's really going to be troublesome. Tough time breathing. We're going to have excess mucus, coughs, some tightness. So we have to be mindful. And then if that is blocked, if toxins can't get through the colon or the respiratory, then they start coming through the skin, which is our third kidney. So when you have skin irritations and skin issues, we already know that the colon is not happy and the respiration is not happy. When we breathe through 4 chambers. Most people only breathe from the top 2. We have 4. So belly breathing. When you watch a baby breathe, you watch from the belly. We should be belly breathing. When you take air in, your belly should extend out. And then whenever you exhale, the belly should go in. Your shoulders shouldn't be doing this. Your shoulders should be the same. You breathe in, it comes in the belly. You blow out, the belly goes down. Belly laughing, right? Belly breathing, belly laughing. There's science. People actually studied the effect that laughter has on our immune system. So when you can laugh, ha 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 ha, we should be watching funny movies, funny videos, things that make us smile, make our heart smile, make us laugh, because that increases our immune system functions. When you're sad and fearful and anxious and depressed, it cuts your immune system in half. Wow. Simply laughing can improve your immune system. Let's talk about some other culprits. And I'm giving you these nuggets because I can't tell you what to do. I can just share what I know. I know from personal experience, I know from my education, I know from research, I know from colleagues that I converse with. But I'm sharing this with you because you have to decide you are in control of your health. You have to decide, where are you? What are you willing to commit to? What are you willing to be compliant with? We want a lot of things. Well, you can have it. You just have to be committed and compliant. That's up to you. So I'm sharing these nuggets so you can figure out, where are you? It doesn't mean you do all of this at one time. Pick one thing to work on. Then it's not so overwhelming. Stress. We know stress causes increased oxidation of our cells, which means they start dying sooner than they're supposed to. It affects blood chemistry. It affects how we are physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically. Body system integrity. If we're not feeding ourselves nutrients and absorbing those nutrients and taking out the trash, our body systems, they get messed up. Chemical exposures, not sleeping well, poor sleep, poor food choices, malabsorption issues, not absorbing what you're taking in. If you're eating and you're still hungry, that's a sign of malabsorption. When you eat nutrient dense foods and your body is saturated with good nutrients, then you're not hungry. You feel satisfied. And a lot of times we're thirsty. We're not hungry, we're thirsty. So hydration is huge. Take your body weight, divide that by 2. That's the least amount of ounces of water you should be drinking a day. If you weigh 200 pounds, you should be drinking at least 100 ounces of water a day. Now, let me just tell you, if you're drinking right now 16 ounces a day, don't drink 100 ounces today or tomorrow. You have to work up to that because you're going to overburden your kidneys. Your kidneys are a filter. When you feed it water, the filter works good. When you feed it sugary drinks, it gets gunked up. Have you ever seen a wheel? If you keep pouring sugar on it, what happens? It doesn't work so well. That's your kidneys. So be nice to your kidneys. Hydration. Non-movement. We have to be moving. Get outside, walk, move, jump on a trampoline, do cartwheels, hula hoop, jumping jacks, swimming, something that creates movement, because your blood system has a pump, it has the heart, but your lymphatic system does not have a pump. So it needs a manual movement. That's you moving. Very important. EMF and technology exposure, we're attached at the computer like we are right now. So make sure that you have a diode to protect that EMF frequencies from affecting your immune system. And then environmental exposures. So what causes distress on the immune system? We have bacterias, viruses, funguses, parasites, dust, pollen, inflammation. What is the one thing that this has in common, right? So a lot of times when we do a health assessment, we think we have a million things going on. Well, you might, but let's narrow that down and find out the common denominator. What is it? Well, let's look for a pattern and let's look for the common denominator. So what is the common denominator with all of these that are here right now? They all contain a shell made up of protein. Bacteria has a shell around it. Viruses have a shell around it. Fungus, parasites have an exoskeleton. Dust, pollen, all of it is made of a protein structure. Why am I telling you that? Why is that important? It's a protein structure. What breaks down protein? 2 things. Enzymes. A full spectrum enzyme with your amylase, your protease, your lipase, a good enzyme, a full range of enzymes. Enzymes break down protein. So when you're doing enzymes with your food, it can break down your food. It can break down anything attached to that food. But when you do it in between meals, it can help break down other stuff like this. So when you're having allergies to pollen, to dust, There might be parasites or worm activity going on. We all have parasites and worms, don't worry. It happens with everybody because there's just thousands and thousands of them. So that's why doing a parasite cleanse, once or twice a year is really important in my opinion. But with funguses, viruses, and bacterias, that protein structure, taking enzymes can help that. The second thing is essential oils. Essential oils can penetrate that protein structure and resuscitate that. So it can help feed and nourish cellular activity. So that's something that's really important and really profound right now. With our immune defense, plant therapy is important as long as it's not GMO, genetically modified, bioengineered, or adulterated in any way. We just want to be careful with that. Enzymes are proteins too, don't we digest them? So enzymes, we do digest enzymes, but enzymes break down stuff. They break down sugars, they break down carbs, they break down proteins. They break stuff down, they gobble, they nibble around a structure, a protein structure or a sugar structure or carbohydrates. To break them down, we have to break them down so we can absorb them. It feeds our metabolism, and it feeds our absorption, and it feeds our elimination of them. That's why we need them. So plant therapy, herbs, tinctures, extracts, herbal teas will be important right now. Essential oils and flower essences, not only physiologically, but psychologically, for our mindset, our mood, our motivation, our emotions, emotional balance and stability. Some properties that you want to look for when you're choosing herbs and tinctures and extracts and essential oils. These are the properties that I'm looking for. Antiviral. I also look for antifungal and antibacterial. I like that trifecta. Anti-inflammatory, gastroprotective, hepatoprotective, nephroprotective. So gastroprotective means it supports and strengthens the gut. Hepato is liver protection. Nephro is kidney protection. See our eliminative organs, how important they are. We need antioxidants. Cardioprotective, heart supporting, especially with the viruses that are going around right now. And the main one that we are managing right now is affecting these elimination organs. That's why we want to be supporting them and feeding them and nourishing them and doing daily support with them. So here is my herbal defense team. I'm sharing exactly what I'm doing. Doesn't mean you have to do it, but I'm sharing what I'm doing because maybe you resonate with something here and you're like, oh, that makes sense to me. I think I need that. You have to choose what's right for you. Full spectrum enzymes, we just talked about that, breaking down the protein structures. Probiotics, and you want to make sure you're doing a multi-strain probiotic. I'm a formulator for an herbal company, and in our formulation, we decided to add in Bacopa because Bacopa strengthens that vagus nerve. Remember, we talked about the gut brain. So if we're putting probiotics in to nourish our gut and nourish our microbiome, we need that communicated to our brain for cognitive functions. So we added Bacopa in. We also added in an immune supporter of red reishi. So whatever probiotic you're using, if it doesn't have those are some things you want to look at possibly adding in. So we have gut brain support and extra immune support. Minerals. So maybe you're drinking a lot of water and you're like, I'm drinking all this water, but I'm peeing it out all the time. I'm always in the bathroom and I'm still thirsty. That tells me you're not holding on to your water. It's not being hydrated into the cells and into the tissues. Minerals can enhance that hydration. They enhance that organ function. They can drive it deeper into the cells to work better for you. So I love minerals. I love medicinal mushrooms, the power. So much research. And there's a formula I use that has these 10 in there because it's so important for our immune function to fight off, to defend, but also tackle anything that's coming in. Lion's mane, red reishi, maitake, shiitake, turkey's tail, chaga, tremella, cordyceps. Cordyceps is also really important for respiratory support. Huge science behind cordyceps. Adaptogens. If you've never heard of adaptogens, you have now. They are very important. They help your body rev up and have energy in the areas that it needs while simultaneously calming anything down that needs to be relaxed or calmed. So it can do everything at one time. It's like autopilot. It knows when to speed up and it knows when to slow down, and it can do that on multiple systems at the same exact time. Eleuthero, Schizandra, Astragalus, Ashwagandha, Rhodiola are examples. I'm also looking for antivirals that offer gastrointestinal support and nerve support. We're all on edge. We all have stress. Our nervous systems are on high alert. We need to be supporting that, because when that is happening, it suppresses the immune system and it stops other functions from happening. Lemon balm, yuzu, mother's wort, marrow root, passion flower, cinnamon, thyme, all of these are helpful. Anti-inflammatories such as curcumin, boswellia, noni, magnolia bark. And then respiratory support, in addition to the cordyceps, suma, eyebright, mullein. Mullein is great for coughs. Fenugreek, very good for the respiratory system. And quercetin, we know, is such a powerful antihistamine and anti-allergenic. So some tidbits as we start moving into essential oil mode. I want to make sure that we aromatherapy responsibly. Essential oils are powerful plant medicine. So are herbs. They work. When you take them, you will have a response. If you take too much magnesium in high amounts provide laxative effects. So you're probably going to be in the bathroom for a little while. So it's a response. So we have to know, what is it that we're using? What do these essential oils do? Let me understand them. Let me understand their properties. Let me know how much I need, because some can offer, they're pretty potent, like cinnamon. You know, cinnamon can provide blood thinning properties. So for somebody with that's on blood thinners, or, you know, when you cut, you bleed easy, or for those having their menses, you want to be careful with cinnamon. It's a powerful antiviral, antifungal. It can stop the spread of infection. It can help us deal with loneliness, feeling isolated and abandoned. It's beautiful, but we have to aromatherapy responsibly when we're using our herbs and our essential oils. Using safe dilutions, safe ratios, making sure that it's quality, purity, that it's potent, that it's coming from a source that respects sustainability. Keeping them out of the reach, or essential oils out of the reach of kids and pets and those with cognitive impairments, because they may want to drink them. We have to be careful with that. Citrus oils are photosensitive. So if you're making up a lemon body lotion and you put that on and then you go hang out in the sun, it can cause some pigmentation on that skin. So you just want to be mindful of that. Using your essential oils in a carrier, I'm a huge advocate of using it in a carrier, because you have to really understand somebody's anatomy and physiology, their tissue states, the contraindications, sensitivities, allergies. But we have receptor sites underneath the skin, and sometimes those receptor sites can get blocked. So just as a safety precaution, I like to make sure that we're using them in a carrier oil. And then using, knowing those contraindications, the safety data sheets that's on them. And then if you have serious health conditions, you want to make sure that you really read those, because if you have major heart issues, if you're in kidney failure, you have to be extra careful, because when we smell our oils and when we're using them topically, you metabolize them and then we eliminate them through the kidneys. So you can still use them, just in a very small amount. So we just want to aromatherapy responsibly. Now, how do they work? I alluded to the fact earlier that essential oils are CPR for the cells. They can resuscitate a dying cell. Our cells are supposed to live 120 days. When we're stressed, when they're oxidized, they're not getting the right nutrients, toxins can't get out. It can sometimes deplete that lifespan. It can cut it in half. And when a cell starts dying off, they have a very thick protein structure that keeps building and building and building, which closes the cell. Two things resuscitate a dying cell: enzymes and essential oils, simply by smelling your essential oils. That's awesome, right? Inhalation. Your nose is a protrusion of your brain. It's a direct link to your brain. It's your external nervous system. So it's going to, tell us how to handle everything that's coming in. I see some questions coming in the chat. I will get to everything, I promise. So through the inhalation, we breathe that in. Our brain, our head brain assesses that. It travels down the vagus nerve to our gut brain for us to take action. It's non-judgmental. Your body doesn't have time to judge it. It goes in and it works like that before you have time to judge. Topical absorption. So when we're applying it, to our skin, doing a foot soak, soaking in a bath, doing a compress, any of these techniques, we're driving that in. It is a form of topical ingestion. Anything you put on your skin is ingested into your system. We have to metabolize it and break it down so we can take what we need and flush out the rest. So that's why dilution ratios are going to be important. Now with our limbic system, when you breathe in, the scent goes into our nose and it travels. We have something called the olfactory bulb. And this is where we process the scent that's coming in and we transmit that scent. It processes through the bulb to get to the brain. Science also shows us that our nose, our olfactory system, specifically the olfactory bulb, is the portal in which viruses enter the body. So that's why wearing the masks can be protective. Anything we breathe in has an opportunity to get into our systems. So if we're breathing in chemicals and we're breathing in toxic debris and we have too much viruses and bacteria and funguses getting into our nose, it can hinder and affect those epithelial tissue, the olfactory receptor sites. And then we may end up with anosmia, which is no sense of smell, and it can cause some other detriments to that epithelial tissue. Our sense of smell also teaches us how to taste. So when taste starts getting off, then we know, oh, we have to start working on the olfactory system. Dysfunctions, the toxic exposure, traumatic brain injuries can cause damage to the olfactory bulb area. So these are just things I want to, just little nuggets to toss out, might mean something to where you are in your health journey. And then the olfaction process, physiological, psychological, and biochemical shifts. It changes our biochemistry. It provokes responses within our body. Essential oils, they help us address, shift, it inspires us, it motivates us, it encourages cellular communication. It creates shifts in the body, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, to help us find balance, to help us find homeostasis. So with essential oils, I've broken them down by scent categories to make it simple. I know many of you have your own essential oils that you're using. I just recommend a highly reputable company. You have to have comfort with that company. There's certain ones that I've used for 20 years. I formulate for a particular company, so of course I'm going to be using those. So those are the ones that I use. Those are the ones that I have experience with. You can try the ones I use, but at the end of the day, you have to use what you feel comfortable with. But I ask you to aromatherapy responsibly. Make sure that you're not sharing false information or information that's not evidence-based or information that could be misleading. We just have to be careful with certain companies and certain ways that we deliver our information. So with essential oils, let's look at spices and herbaceous essential oils. These are going to provide you with anxiolytic properties. It's going to calm anxiety. They're going to be antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, an immunomodulator. Immunomodulation is important. It's not stimulating, it's not relaxing, it's serving as an adaptogen to know when to lift and when to calm at the same time. It's bringing balance. If it's imbalanced, it brings it into balance. That's why we want to look heavily at immunomodulators and anti-parasitic. With the virus that's going around right now, there's a parasitic component to that. I throw this out to you. The ones that are my favorite that I'm using that match this entire description of properties that bring you this therapy: sweet basil, black pepper, cinnamon, ginger, oregano, and thyme. You can put all these together for an amazing powerhouse, but we're going to get to some other scent categories. So maybe you look at, oh, I have cinnamon. Let me pull that aside. If you've got the cinnamon, grab that, breathe that in. Actually, let me show you the right way to do that. So I put 1 drop. You can put a drop on a scent stick. I just sometimes don't get it on a scent stick, so I don't waste a drop, but I'll put it in the cap and I breathe from the cap. Now, if you cannot see the cap in your peripheral vision, it's too close. You don't want to touch your nose to it. Don't accidentally touch your nose because then it gets contaminated. You put it on and now we have cross-contamination. So this is wafting. You're going to breathe that in, close your eyes, take in that scent. Where do you feel it? Where is it connecting with you? Is it in your throat? Is it in your chest? Is it in your gut? What thoughts are coming to mind? What emotions? What feelings? This is how cinnamon is communicating with you. It's telling you what it can do for you and how it can help you. How awesome is that? So I think of essential oils like people. They all have talents. They all have gifts. They all have a personality. And they don't have a verbal language, but they have an action language. They help us feel. It's a feeling language. That's how they communicate with us. So take any of these that you have and set those aside. Your fruits. So your fruit essential oil, most of them are expressed from the rind. That's what makes it phototoxic. If you are using any steam distilled fruit oils, yuzu, for example, is steam distilled. There are actually some essential oils nowadays being more steam distilled. They're steam distilled, they do not carry that phototoxic component. So that's just a safety measure for you. But your fruit oils, they're going to be antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant across the board. They're adaptogenic. They know how to help you modulate stresses in the body: physical, mental, emotional, energetic. It's a neuro and a cardioprotective. It's an immunomodulator, and they are anxiolytic, helping with anxiety. Anxiety being a spasm of the nerves. So any nerve spasms, then that means it's also antispasmodic. Grapefruit, lemon, lime, Litsea cubeba, which is also known as Mei Chang, orange, and yuzu. This is your fruit powerhouse. If you just want a fruit bliss, a citrus bliss, put all these together, or whichever ones you have. You can mix them together in equal parts. 1 drop of each in a diffuser, or 2 drops of each if you want to make like a 2-ounce spray. Your camphor oils. So these are camphoraceous. When you smell them, it's opening, it's refreshing. Antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, antiparasitic. Febrifuge means fever reducing, heat reducing. So if you're having heat flushes, hot flashes, any heat in the body. So I like to mix these with some Epsom salt first, put them in a bath, and do a foot soak. So really good way to help with fever and any hot natured stuff going on. Antispasmodic, they're also expectorant and a decongestant. So eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is also very good if you ever feel overwhelmed. You feel claustrophobic or confined. A lot of us are feeling confined and lonely right now. So eucalyptus is very good to give us room to breathe. Our mints help us adapt to change, adapt to new situations. Rosemary enhances our oxygen levels within our bloodstream, and moving stuff increases our circulation. It's also a cephalic oil, which means brain enhancing. We need to focus, concentrate, have better memory, combat any dementia, type, forgetfulness. Rosemary is great. And Ravensara I absolutely love. It's a little bit more gentle than eucalyptus, but it's a silent powerhouse, extremely strong antiviral. Your essential oil florals. These are going to provide antiviral, antibacterial, anxiolytic support. They're anti-inflammatory, immunomodulator, and they're also going to provide protection for the nerves, the heart, and the liver, our eliminative channels. So when you hear me say that the nerves, they're nervines, they're supporting nerves. So if there's any neurological issues going on, these protect and support that. If there's any heart and circulation issues going on, these are supporters. If there's any liver issues going on, we hold the emotion of anger in the liver. That raises heat. Any heat happening in the body is going back to an imbalanced liver. These oils can help. So they also will help as a febrifuge or heat reducers. Chamomile is always going to be one of probably my most favorite essential oil, because it was the very first essential oil that I was introduced to when I was really sick. Like, I didn't know what essential oils were. And I had a friend, my mentor at the time said, hey, I'm going to make you a roll-on with chamomile. I heard it helps with cramping. I had Crohn's, colitis, leaky gut. I was severely debilitated and, just chronic episodes every day. And she's like, I heard this can help. And so she made me a roll-on. I put it on my stomach and it knocked my cramps out like that. Not only did it do that, it helped my mindset. It helped me overcome anxiety, depression, just being in a dark place from being so sick. It, in my opinion, saved my life by giving me the will to live and survive and thrive. So it's very good on an emotional level because it's a nurturer. It's a caretaker. It's called the plant's physician. So I love chamomile. Roman chamomile, German chamomile is highly anti-inflammatory too, because it's blue. Through the distillation process, it actually creates a blue color on its own. So it's not food coloring when you see blue oils like German chamomile. Lavender. We know lavender is the perfect harmonizer. Geranium is a great immunomodulator, but also a stress modulator. Children seem to do really well with that three combination. Chamomile, lavender, geranium is beautiful for children to help them through stressful situations. Helichrysum is great for wound healing, emotional wounds, physical wounds, but also it's incredible for the liver, for the nerves, and our immune system. It is expensive, so one drop does go a long way, so you can add it into a blend. I usually mix it in a cream and use it that way because I feel like I get more bang for my buck that way. And lemon balm, which is also known as Melissa, highly antiviral, but a powerful nervine. So again, nervous, chronic fatigues, autoimmune, nervous system issues. These are the oils you want to look at. Your essential oil trees. So we want these beautiful trees. They grow tall, so you can tell that they help you see the bigger picture in a situation, that they're strong. So they're going to provide us with strength and resiliency, especially pine. Pine is, amazingly resilient. Frankincense is my number one oil for fear and for allergies. Any kind of allergies, I love frankincense for that. And then fear we hold in the kidneys. So for people going through fearful situations, might have some kidney distress, the kidneys are sore. And, if you put your hands on your hips in the back, that's where your kidneys are located. So just be mindful of that. And again, hydration can really help along with minerals and enzymes. Our furs, Douglas fir, balsam fir, silver fir, our furs are very good for respiratory support. Cedar. If you had to give cedar a nickname or one word to define cedar, it would be strength. Strengthen our immune system, strengthen our membranes, strengthen our tissue, strengthen our cells, strengthen our mindset, our ability to manage chaos and crazy situations. And then also blue cypress. And blue cypress is very good for fluid movement. So the kidneys, our circulation, our lymph, which is also going to nourish our immune support. So your tree oils, they provide therapeutic properties of antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, anti-inflammatory. They are cephalic, meaning it's strengthening cognitive functions, focus, concentration, alertness, memory, creativity. They're anti-allergenic, and they're also expectorants to support the respiratory system. Essential oil grasses. They provide antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, anti-inflammatory properties. They're also expectorants. They are also gastro and nerve protectants. So there's a lot of research, especially with lemongrass, supporting the gastrointestinal system, which we know the immune system resides within there. Elemi. So I was traveling to Japan during the time when SARS was real big. And this was, of course, many, many years ago. And one of my mentors had shared with me, do you know about Elemi essential oil? I'm like, no. She's like, oh my goodness, it's like a powerhouse. So I'm like, oh, I have to use this oil. So Elemi is like a grass. It smells like a cross between lemongrass and citronella, but very calm down. But it is a beautiful oil for, also emotionally to help us when we feel attacked. So these are my favorite grasses, the elemi, the lemongrass, and then also palmarosa. Palmarosa is gentle, yet powerful. And so, this is going to be just some great oils. And if you have any of these, I encourage you to pull them aside. I've got my lemongrass right here. I'm going to put a drop in the cap. Smell it without touching your nose to the cap. And wow, just by smelling that one time, you're going to get the effect or the benefits of that oil for at least 2 to 3 hours. It's changing biochemistry. It's affecting, it's inspiring physical, mental, emotional, and biochemical responses in our body. So even whenever you diffuse it, if you can't smell it anymore, there's something called scent adaptation. You adapt to the scents. The receptor sites get filled. That's why, you smell something else like coffee beans to refresh, or you walk outside and then you come back. But even though you can't smell it anymore, you're still getting the benefits of that, which is so important. Now, I had a question come in. I am recording this and I will post this to our YouTube channel. So you can go back and watch this and take notes and re-listen to this anytime that you need to, and share it, with your family and your friends, because, we need to be helping each other out. We want to be able to support and share what we know. Application methods. So I've given you essential oils. And so how do you use them? What is the best way to use them for different situations? My first recommendation is do a whole body assessment. Ask yourself or take an inventory. What's going on with me physically? What's going on with me emotionally? What's going on with me mentally? Let's write those down. Now, it may be a million things, but we're going to categorize that into body systems. Remember, anger, frustration, irritability, that's connected with liver. Fear is connected with kidneys. Worries connected with the intestines. So we have different emotions in different areas. So we're going to overlap and we're going to find out, okay, which are my top 2 to 3 body systems that's most out of balance, because those are the instigators it's looking like, or that's where I'm going to get the biggest bang for my buck on whatever I do. I need to go after these top issues that are going on. Then you're going to cross-reference any allergies, sensitivities, and contraindications that you may have. And then you're going to look at, okay, which of these essential oils are going to be beneficial for me? Which ones do I like? First of all, which ones do I have? And which ones am I going to use? I'm going to choose my team. You pick your oils. You can do inhalation therapy. So you can diffuse it. If you want a non-electric option, you can take pine cones or cotton balls or, a terracotta or something that you just drizzle your oils on and let it serve as an apparatus to emit the scent into the air. You can do that in a large room. If you really need some specific support, then I like to go into a bathroom. It's a smaller area, close the door, run the diffuser for 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, depending on your sensitivity and depending on your health issues and depending on your experience with using essential oils. If you're very brand new to oils, I would not recommend doing a 30-minute essential oil session, meaning you're in a closed room running a diffuser for 30 minutes. It's going to be too overwhelming. These work. They're going to shift. They're going to create movement within your body. You need to be responsible and not overdo it, right? 1 drop can go a long way. You don't need 20 drops. But if you've been doing this for a while and you're like, yeah, for me, I traveled recently. And, so I knew there was a lot going on. And so my husband and I, when we got home, we ran our diffuser, we sat near it, we put the cats in the other room, and we breathed in. We did a 30-minute session, and we've been doing 2 30-minute sessions every single day to make sure that our cells are supported, our tissues are supported, our immune system is supported. Topical dilution. So you can use a cream, you can use a carrier oil, olive oil, almond oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, grapeseed oil, whichever carrier that you have. You can use sea salt or Epsom salt to create a bath salt or a foot soak or a hand soak even. You can make your own perfume. So if you have a roll-on bottle, you can take that and mix your oils with the carrier oil and use that as your perfume. You can use them as your deodorant. You can create a hand sanitizer with them. For compresses, so maybe your neck is tight or sore, or you're combating a fever or some muscle aches, or you've got, your calves are being stiff or your joints are being stiff or sore, you can create a compress. So I recommend getting a glass bowl, putting a cup or 2 of sea salt or Epsom salt in there. Choose your essential oils. So maybe you're going to do some camphors, you're going to do eucalyptus and peppermint together. And so if you're doing 1 cup of each, that's 8 ounces of Epsom salt for 1 cup. So maybe do 2 drops eucalyptus, 2 drops peppermint. The salts hold on to the scent very well. You don't need a ton. Mix that together very well, and then decide, are you doing a hot compress or a cold compress? If you're doing a hot compress, get a bowl, glass preferably, or really thick PET, your BPA-free plastic. If you're doing a bucket, put the hot water in there. After you mix the essential oils and the salts, then you can dump that mixture into the bucket or into your bath. And then you can do a body soak or a foot soak. But if you're doing the compress, get a small bowl, put that in there, and then dip a cloth. So you're in a compress, you're going to do a bowl of your hot or cold water. You're going to have a separate bowl with your Epsom salt and essential oil. You're going to dump that essential oil mixture into that bowl and then dip your cloth. Stir it up, dip your cloth in there, and apply it to the area. Apply it, but then cover it with a towel to infuse that in. And then, those sessions can go anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes, 3 times a day. You can also mix up your essential oils in a carrier oil and then apply them to your reflexology points, your acupressure points. If you don't know that, you can pull up a chart for the foot reflexology or hand reflexology. You can also pull up acupressure points to see, hey, I'm having liver issues. All right, well, then let's go find the liver point on reflexology and the liver point on acupressure, and then that's when you do a compress over the liver and on those points. That's another way you could use them. You can also do circadian rhythm time zones. Your body does maintenance on different body systems throughout the daytime. In the nighttime, your body's doing maintenance on detoxifying organs. In the daytime, we're doing various things. From 3 to 5, the body is working on our urinary system, and then from 5 to 7. So we're working on bladder and kidney from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. So a lot of people may have heightened fear, heightened urinary issues between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. So making sure you're staying hydrated, but also doing a compress, a cool compress over your kidneys can be beneficial between 3 and 7 p.m. That would be using the circadian rhythm time zone to teach you when to apply these particular methods. Organ support: if your liver's hurting, put it over the liver. If your stomach is hurting or intestines are hurting, put the blend over your intestines. That's pretty simple. And then you don't need to be doing this every single hour unless you're in a major crisis, unless you're like highly, highly congested and you need to breathe and you're putting a sinus or a chest rub on, you might want to do that every hour. But in general, once, twice, I recommend at least twice daily as a minimum. But on average, 3 times a day. If you eat 3 meals a day, you should be doing your aromatherapy 3 times a day. And then if you need more to calm anxiety or something specific, you can go up to 6 times a day. Now I'm going to give you some recipes. I'm going to give you 3 specific recipes because I know you guys are like, hey, I want something specific here. So as a diffuser recipe, and it doesn't mean you have to use these, grab whichever ones you like, grab whichever ones that you have. And then if you don't have any of them or you don't want to make any of this up, you certainly can let me know. I do custom blending also that I can make stuff up for you as well. So with the diffuser recipe, we have an immune booster: 3 drops of lemon, 2 drops of cinnamon, 1 drop of elemi. You can do 2 drops if you want, and 2 drops of lavender. You put that into your diffuser, diffuse that 15 to 30 minute sessions. A lot of diffusers, your ultrasonic diffusers are my favorite. Nowadays they have timers on them. So they will run for 15, 30 minutes, take a break, run for 15, to 30 minutes, and then they'll take a break. So those are the ones that I like that have the timers on them. And an alternate is if you have a nebulizer, if you have one of those facial saunas, you can use that as a diffuser. A nasal atomizer, the little ones, and aromatherapy spray. So you can take your spray, and use that as a diffuser, your roll-on, a bath. You can get a bowl of salts and put that in there and sit that out, and that serves as a diffuser as well. You want to dilute any single essential oils in a carrier before you are applying it topically. The contraindication with cinnamon here, as I mentioned earlier, was it contains blood thinning properties, so just be careful if you're very sensitive or have very thin blood. And lemon is photosensitive, so don't use that, on your skin and go hang out in the sun for a while. Your chest and respiratory cream recipe. So this is just a suggestion of what you can mix together. So 1 ounce of shea butter and 1 ounce of aloe vera gel. It's a really nice, simple blend. If you have other creams, you can throw in arnica cream, calendula cream, or oil. You can throw in other oils in this as well, carrier oils. In here, I'm recommending 6 drops of eucalyptus globulus, 4 drops of frankincense, Boswellia carteri, 5 drops of pine, and 5 drops of sweet orange, Citrus sinensis, so sweet orange. You can also put lemon here or any of the other citrus, yuzu, if you wanted. You're going to mix that well into the cream, and then, put your cap on it, put a label on it so you know what it is, and then store it in a cool area. Don't put it right by, the window or in sunlight. And then apply that to your hands. You can cup your hands over your face, not touching your face, but just kind of cupped over. Breathe that in. And then you can also put that on your feet, the bottoms of your feet. Put socks on so it infuses in your chest, but support the respiratory from both front and back. Your body, anywhere you need it. Look at what organs need support, what reflexology points, and then also on your temples. Another thing is you can also put it around your ears if you're getting ear congestion, if you're having any motion sickness or that ear popping, or swelling or congestion in that area. And then as a hand and room sanitizer spray, you can do equal parts of lemon, oregano, cinnamon, and cedar. And then you can mix in a little bit of alcohol or witch hazel if you'd like. Mix the oils into the alcohol and the witch hazel first to emulsify it. And then you can add your distilled water, or I like to mix in my lavender hydrosol in there. And then you're going to shake that up, put that in. So you shake that up and then put your label on it, and then just store it in a cool area that's away from the sunlight. So those are some great recipes, just to give you some DIY. How do I start? What do I do? And then, of course, if you ever have questions, you let me know, and then I'll be able to guide you that way. So some additional support that I want to share with you. Of course, these are recommendations from, our CDC, from our doctors, to make sure you're washing your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds. And now they're saying actually up to 2 minutes. So that's going to be really important. Essential oil based sanitizer, water, alcohol, silver, adding in Aquasoul silver or colloidal silver would be really good. If you're doing masks or any, sarongs or scarves over, spraying that with your essential oil spray. Diffusing your oils daily. Don't touch your eyes, any orifices. Don't touch your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Keep your hands away. And for people that are used to biting their nails, put gloves on. Don't be biting your nails right now. Avoid close contact with people, especially those that are sick. The recommendation is 6 feet apart. Cover your cough or sneeze, so sneezing into a tissue or your elbow away, because you don't want to do this, because then you've got to really go sanitize that. And then you discard, try to change your shirt immediately. If you can't, then take your spray and spray that area, disinfect that area really, really well. Clean and disinfect frequently, touch objects and surfaces. And then they're saying for the virus that's going around, the symptoms may take 2 to 14 days to appear. So we just want to be careful. We want to be responsible, not only for ourselves, but our family, our parents, our elderly. This is affecting so many people. And then isolate yourself if you are exposed. So a couple ways that you can stay in touch with me is I do have my social media outlets. Facebook, I have a GenSense page and a GenSense Aromaversity. GenSense Aromaversity is school and education focused. GenSense is really, aromatherapy and daily living focused. Instagram under GenSense. LinkedIn is under my name, Jennifer Pressimone. We also have Pinterest. So we're posting a lot. We have a blog. We have a YouTube channel. I'm constantly doing videos and, our 1-minute scent breaks on our YouTube channel. We also have a newsletter at gensense.com. So if you're not registered for that, I encourage you to do that. And when you register, I have a free ebook for you that's giving you more tips about how to use aromatherapy.